Hello, chess fans. This is Rick from Chess to Impress. You must have heard the great news by now. The 2020 Candidates Tournament, which was suspended after round 7, will resume. Round 8 will be played on the 1st of November. That's a Sunday of the year 2020. And we will finish the tournament and find out who will challenge world champion Magnus Carlsen for the world title. On September 8th, the FIDE president Arkady Dvorkovich said, "Today's announcement about the resumption of the candidates is another positive step for chess fans and players. The World Championship cycle is one of the oldest sports traditions in the world, and it is FIDE's duty to protect it and ensure its continuity. This is also a crucial event in order to increase the popularity of chess around the world. We are aware that millions of fans are looking forward to seeing the best chess players on the planet back at the chessboard, and we have spared no effort to make it possible despite the challenging circumstances. As we've stressed on several occasions, we would resume the competition only when it is considered safe to do so, under the guidance of the leading public health authorities." Originally, the Candidates Tournament was supposed to take place in March. These were the 8 players. But you see across there through Timur Radjabov, who did not want to play because of the threat of the coronavirus. Radjabov was replaced by Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. And then we had these 8 players. From the top left, Wang Hao from China, Anish Giri from the Netherlands, Fabiano Caruana from the USA, Jan Nepomniachtchi from Russia. Bottom right, Ding Liren from China, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave from France, Alexander Grishuk from Russia, and Kirill Alexeyenko, the wildcard, also from Russia. Those 8 players did battle in Yekaterinburg. But then, after round 7, the message was, today the government of the Russian Federation announced that starting March 27th, Russia interrupts air traffic with other countries without indicating any time frames. And the tournament was stopped. Nigel Short, FIDE vice president, said, "I thought we had seen the end of the Germans in chess, but we have regrettably had to reintroduce them for the candidates." And one of the participants, Fabiano Caruana, said, "The candidates is over for now. The hard part still remains. Getting home. I expect to re-enter a world I'll hardly recognize," said the previous challenger to Magnus Carlsen. Well, he got home safely. Those were the standings when it all stopped at the end of March. Vachier-Lagrave and Nepomniachtchi on +2 with 4.5 points out of 7 games. Grishuk was on 50%, he made 7 draws. Giri was also on 50%, as were Caruana and Wang Hao. At the bottom of the table, Alexeyenko and Ding Liren with -2. And on Sunday, November 1st, this will be the pairing for round 8. Caruana Vachier-Lagrave, Wang Hao against Ding, Nepomniachtchi Giri and Alexeyenko against Grishuk, the opposite pairings of round 1. As I'm recording this video, it's only 52 days away, and on Chess to Impress we're going to count down towards the second half of that great event. We will do so by looking at the earlier candidates tournaments and matches in the history of the World Championship. There were a total of 29 events. The first one was the tournament in London 1883, where Steinitz and Zukertort were the first 2 to qualify for the World Championship match. In St. Petersburg 1895-1896, Steinitz qualified to get a revenge match against Emanuel Lasker. In the Netherlands, in different cities, in 1938, Paul Keres won the candidates event, but he never got a match because World War II got in the way. Budapest and Moscow 1950 was won by David Bronstein, and he earned the right to challenge world champion Mikhail Botvinnik for the world title. And Zurich 1953 was won by Vasily Smyslov, and it was his turn to challenge Botvinnik. Amsterdam 1956 was also won by Smyslov, and Misha Tal won in Yugoslavia 1959, and he challenged Botvinnik and beat him. Curaçao 1962 was won by Tigran Petrosyan, who played Botvinnik the next year and won the World Championship. Boris Spassky won 2 candidates tournaments in Tbilisi 1965 and Kiev 1968. In the end, he overcame world champion Petrosyan. Buenos Aires 1971. was won by Bobby Fischer. He beat Tigran Petrosyan in the final candidates match and earned the right to challenge Boris Spassky for the world title. Bobby Fischer did not defend his world title, so Moscow 1974, which was won by Anatoly Karpov, in resulting Karpov becoming world champion by default. Viktor Korchnoi qualified twice for the World Championship match by winning the candidate cycles, the final in Belgrade 77-78 and Merano 80-81. And then it was the turn of the great Garry Kasparov. He won the candidate cycle. The last match was in Vilnius 1984 and he played Karpov for the world title. Karpov lost the world title but beat Andrei Sokolov in Linares 1987 for a rematch against Kasparov. And he did the same by beating Jan Timman in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia in 1990 for the 5th match against Kasparov. That was the end of the Karpov era because Nigel Short won in San Lorenzo de El Escorial 1993. He beat Karpov in the semi-finals and Timman in the finals, and it was his turn to play against Kasparov. Viswanathan Anand won Las Palmas 1995 and he played Kasparov, and in Cazorla 1998 it was Alexei Shirov who won a candidates match against Vladimir Kramnik. Shirov won but never got a match. Dortmund 2002 was won by Peter Leko, and 2 years later he played Vladimir Kramnik for the world title and almost beat him. Elista 2007 was won by 4 players because we went into a World Championship tournament. Aronyan, Gelfand, Grishuk and Leko qualified for that World Championship tournament. Sofia 2009, Veselin Topalov beat Gata Kamsky and qualified to play Viswanathan Anand a year later, also in Sofia, for the world title. Kazan 2011 saw Boris Gelfand rise to the top, and it was his turn to challenge Anand the year after. Many people will remember London 2013, drama in the last few rounds. Magnus Carlsen came out on top and he defeated Anand later that year. Anand came back and won Khanty-Mansiysk 2014 for a rematch against Carlsen, and in Moscow 2016 it was Sergei Karyakin who qualified for the world title match. Berlin 2018 was won by Fabiano Caruana. It was his turn to challenge Carlsen, and now we have Yekaterinburg 2020. The first half has been played. The second half will start on the 1st of November, and it will be very, very exciting. As said, we're counting down on Chess to Impress by looking at the earlier candidates tournaments. This video will look at the London 1883 event, and I will show you a game there when Steinitz and Zukertort finished in the first 2 places. Zukertort won the event, Steinitz was second, and 3 years later they played the first official match for the World Championship. That tournament in London was notable for the first use of the double-sided chess clock, which was manufactured by T.B. Wilson from Manchester. And a funny incident occurred at the tournament banquet when the St. George's Chess Club president proposed a toast to the best chess player in the world, and both Steinitz and Zukertort stood up at the same time to thank him. I will not show you a game from the tournament winners, I will show you a game from the great Mikhail Chigorin, who had the white pieces in round 13 against Arthur Skipworth. And Chigorin opened with the e-pawn. Chigorin was the godfather of Russian chess. He played 2 World Championship matches against Wilhelm Steinitz and lost them both. e6, the French defense was played by Skipworth. Arthur Bolland Skipworth was a reverend from the UK. He was secretary of the British Counties Chess Association and editor of the Chess Players Chronicle. And d4 was played by Chigorin, b6 on the second move, bishop d3, bishop b7, knight h3, knight f6, knight c3 and bishop b4. Putting some pressure on the knight is pinned, so this pawn is now hanging. It's attacked by the bishop and by the knight, and only defended really by the bishop because this knight is pinned. So queen e2 makes sense to give the e-pawn a second protector, and here a move like knight c6 makes sense, just continue development, but h6 was played by black. Chigorin castled, and now black voluntarily took on c3, not a very good move. b takes, and d5. Chigorin played e5, kicking the knight. Knight went back to d7, and queen g4. We have played 10 moves, and white is already enjoying a nice advantage. He has a great attacking position with his extra space on the king side and his beautiful bishops. Black has a problem with his king. Where will that king find safety? Castling kingside against a storm is not good, because then there is bishop takes h6, threatening checkmate on g7, and the bishop cannot be taken, the g-pawn is pinned. So g6 needs to be played, and then the second sacrifice, bishop takes g6, and this is a forced win for white. So that is not playable. But what to do instead? If castling doesn't work, white is threatening to take on g7, so king f8 was played to at least protect the g7 pawn. Knight f4, queen e7, rook e1, and bishop a6, with the idea of trading one of white's monstrous bishops. But there is a tactical problem with it. c4. Black fell for the trap, bishop takes c4, bishop takes c4, and you have to recapture. But now white has a very nice tactical shot, and that's why I chose this game. It's a really nice move. If you want to look for yourself, put the video on pause. How can white win the game on the spot? Mikhail Chigorin saw it and played queen g4 to f3. What a beautiful move. With the double threat, what is the threat? Well, the first one is obvious. The rook in the corner is hanging. The second one is less obvious. Black played c6. Did he see what was coming? There comes the second threat. Knight g6. And that is a fork on king and queen. It wins the queen because now the f-pawn is pinned because the queen has gone to f3. And here black resigned. And Mikhail Chigorin had won a game in only 16 moves. And that second to last move, queen g4 to f3, was very pretty. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you will count down towards the resumption of the Canada's tournament with me. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel and please leave a comment. I will read them all and I will reply to them all. If you liked the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter and on Facebook. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.